We are now standing on the grounds of Temple Church, which is in the little village of Temple. It is believed that this church has a direct link to Roslyn Chapel, and as well as that with GILMERTON COVE. It is thought that this church was built in the 12th century. They have found some very strange carvings in the graves here, dating back to the Viking times. Now this site has really baffled archaeologists because they have found ancient Viking carvings or something similar in some of the graves here. So the history of this place is very confusing. They think this site dates back to the 12th century, but they can't be sure. This was a really important site because this was the original Templar preceptory of Scotland. The village that this church sits in actually takes its name from the Knight Templars, hence it's called Temple Village. Now there's also a village myth that there's a lot of buried treasure here. As yet no excavations have been done and no treasure has ever been found. now standing on the bridge of the famous Roslin Castle. This is the bridge that Tom Hanks stood on for the movie The Da Vinci Code when they were shooting about the Knights Templars at Roslin Chapel. I'm going to try and send my drone up, but there's quite a few people around, so I'm going to just wait a while, wait till everybody disappears, and then send the drone up to give you a bird's eye view of Roslin Castle. The castle was built in the 14th century, so it was built before the chapel itself. We're now making our way to Roslin Chapel. It was built in the mid-15th century. This chapel has got a direct link to the Knights Templars. Now there's a lot of myth and lies surrounding this chapel. Of course, it became even more famous a few years back when a movie was made based on the book of Dan Brown, the Knights Templars and the Da Vinci Code. Of course, Tom Hanks starred in that movie. So since the late 80s, the myth started spreading that the Holy Grail was possibly buried here. All sorts of rumors. I suspect none of them are true, and it was just a marketing ploy to get tourists here en masse. Now, after the movie came out, you couldn't get anywhere near this place. There were thousands of people coming here every day, but at least it paid for the restoration of the roof, which has now been fixed, thank God, because you couldn't see the roof for many years. I haven't seen the footage yet, but it does look stable. The phone didn't blank out on me and the drone didn't stop midway. So here's hoping that when I get home and review the footage that everything will be okay. I'm not going to go in today. I have been in several times. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to take any photographs or video in there. So for today's purpose, there's no point going in because I won't be able to show you anything. Many years it used to be free to come in and see the chapel, but since the movie Da Vinci Code, you now have to pay. It's now £9 to get in. I believe this building you see behind me is actually the oldest part of the chapel. This actually predates the chapel, and it may have been built, well, I'm speculating here, but at least the 12th century. The chapel itself came later, and it was built upon several times. Now the bit I just walked past there was called the Lady Chapel. It was previously part of an older castle. They just don't know. They don't know how old it is. They don't actually have any plans. They can't find the plans for this chapel. So they don't know what the original layout was intended to be and how it was built, and if it was even built according to the plan. The actual build date of the chapel is the 20th September 1456. But that can't be proved. Just to finish on a final note, one of the really bizarre things about this chapel is that quite a few UFOs have been spotted here. Now, there's been a famous one that took off from the field just behind you. It's well known, but another thing that will go down in folklore around here. Seems to be a lot of mystery surrounding this chapel. It's been a strange day today. I was flying the drone over Roslyn Chapel, and the drone was not behaving. Every time I got near to the chapel, the video feed would shut off, and the drone would do some strange things. And I brought the drone back home and reviewed the footage. There's a very bad wobble in the footage. Now, I checked the video footage just before at a different location, and it's fine. Now, I was flying over Roslyn Chapel. The footage is all wobbly and bad. Now, I've come home, I've panicked, I thought the drone's broken. So I've flown up in the back garden, and the footage is fine again. So I don't know how to explain that. Either Roslyn Chapel is giving off some sort of signal from an antenna somewhere, or Roslyn Chapel itself was built on a ley line and is an energy interference. I don't know. The last time I was here, my drone showed very peculiar behavior. My phone kept switching off every time the drone came anywhere near the church. When I reviewed the footage when I got home, it was all shaky, the camera was shaky. I don't understand it. I have since flown the drone at home and it works perfectly fine. So I've decided to come back to the chapel here. I'm going to try and fly again and see what happens. I can't explain why the drone behaved so oddly, but hopefully it won't happen today.